What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dad's Expensive Hobby.
What's up?
Today we are taking a look at the Figuarts Jiren from Dragonball Super. I picked this figure up just a couple of weeks ago at a store called Toy Headquarters in Lexington, Kentucky, and I got to tell you, I am thrilled that I did. This figure is excellent. I have zero emotional investment in Jiren. I don't care about the character at all, but this figure right here is really, really good, and I'm sad that I slept on it most of the year. There is a couple of little nitpicky things about it that I would change, but other than that, this figure is great. We will get into that more here in just a little bit, but first things first, let's get him scaled up and see how tall he is.
So how tall are you?
Okay, to the top of his head, he is right at 6.5 inches tall, and that would make him just north of 16 centimeters, and I think that works out okay. Let's stand him next to the Super Saiyan Blue Goku, because he does come with an accessory for this figure, and I think that scales up pretty good. Figuarts Dragon Ball scales never 100% accurate, but I think it looks good enough. And let's stand him next to Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, because I do believe in the Tournament of Power he beats up on him just a little bit too, and I think that looks pretty well next to each other. And just because, laughably, people think that this would even be a good fight, hold up! Let's stand him next to Full Power Broly, and hopefully just the appearance of this right here will silence the doubters that think that he could take Broly. That is just crazy. But anyways, that's all I've got for scale. I think his scale is pretty darn good. Let's move in and take a look at all of his accessories.
Propane and propane accessories.
Okay, this figure comes with a really good spread of accessories. All right, he comes with 4 really good looking head sculpts. He comes with a neutral head on him in the package. He's got a teeth gritting face with his eyes looking off to the right. He's got an open mouth yelling face with his eyes looking off to the right. And he's got an open mouth yelling face with big giant red eyes staring out straight ahead. He comes with 9 interchangeable hands with a couple of cool little effects on both of them. He's got 2 fist hands that come on him in the package. He's got 2 kind of like knife hands. He's got 2 open palm hands. He's got 2 kind of gripping hands, and one of them's got a fistful of Goku's blue hair. And there's what that looks like when it's connected to the Super Saiyan Blue Goku. And he's got that like glowing kind of fist energy power-up kind of hand right there. He comes with an awesome looking little energy effect piece. This flaming fist effect looks really cool. And he comes with a sweet looking little cross arms attachment. The shading on that attachment looks really good. And for what this figure was when he was retail, that is pretty darn good. I'm not for sure what it was he went for, but I'm sure it was probably around what the final Battle Jiren was, and I think he was $75 on Premium Bandai, which is not cheap, but that's, for what we get with this guy, that is really, really good. So I'm more than pleased with it, and I think you will be too. That's all I've got for his accessories. Let's move in and take a look at his paint and detail.
I must paint you.
Oh, that's so...
All right, now this figure, sadly, he doesn't have a lot of paint, but where he has it, boy, does it look good. And let's start with his face. His face plates are amazing. This gorgeous flat finish all over all 4 head sculpts looks really, really good. Paint is done excellently. I don't like the way his eyes look to the right, but that's, you know, for another video full of complaints. He's got a satin finish all over his suit other than his face. There's kind of a satin matte finish on the gloves. The gloves are all colored plastic. There is a little bit of paint right here, but it's done really, really well, and I think this neck through here has some paint. Other than that, everything else is a colored plastic with a satin or a satin to matte finish on it, but it does look really good. And this figure, my lighting is all jacked up, but if you can see it, I think you can, has some very subtle shading throughout the figure in the muscles, and man, does it make this figure look good. And surprise, surprise, it's even on the back.
You son of a bitch.
Even through here in his rhomboids and in his lower back right through here and on his lats. Really, really good. And the sculpt of this figure, holy mackerel, does it look good. From just all the way through, looks so good. It's done so well. Even when you move his butterfly joint, look at that. The sculpt remains and it doesn't, you know, look goofy or silly. Wow, did they really, they put some thought into this figure. It looks so good. Now, they gave him butt cheeks. They gave him some cake, but strangely enough, because of the design of this figure, I think booty cheeks are actually appropriate for this figure. Does it belong on a Vegeta? No. But this figure right here, I'll allow it. It looks really, really good, and don't read too much into that. But what paint there is looks really, really good, and the sculpt is fantastic. Can't complain. It's got a nice matte finish where it needs to be matte. There's shading, satin to matte finish. On the suit, it's a little more satiny than I wish they would really just went with a full-on matte or flat finish for the suit. I don't know why they chose satin for this one, because the final battle Jiren, his suit is matte there, and I think that figure looks even better than this one does. So I don't know why they decided to make it two different finishes. But anyway, I'm not going to complain. This looks really, really good. That's all I've got for his paint and detail. Let's move in and take a look at his articulation.
I know Kung Fu.
All right, old Jiren here is very flexible, moves really, really well. Let's start with his head. Looks down really good. Looks up kind of decent. The sculpt stops it. Plus, he doesn't have much neck, but his neck does move really well, if you can see that. Can lean his head side to side any way you want to, and that's because his head is on a double ball peg.
I'm just living my dream, man. I'm happy.
I say every single time, double ball pegs are the way to go, and this is just more living proof as to why that's the truth. His shoulders, excellent. Go way past 90 degrees. That is fantastic. And his butterfly joint is maybe the best one I've ever seen. It doesn't have quite the range of Gogeta or Superhero Piccolo, but can touch the hands together, and you get very minimal gapping, just barely down here at the bottom. Look at that, the way they sculpted this. His back just continues. Oh my goodness, the best, absolutely the best butterfly joint I've seen so far. And the sculpt and the way they did the cut, just executed perfectly. Very, very well done. Diaphragm cut, can crunch pretty darn good. Leans way back with very, 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 very minimal gapping right there. Tilts side to side with no problem. All the way around, rolls really good. It's on a little ball peg down here, so you get extra roll and crunch. This figure's articulation thus far is so good. You can twist him all the way around if you want to.
That's a twist. That's very twisty.
I don't know why you would want to. He does a split really well. Really nice little side-to-side split there. He can front kick. Okay, I'll call that acceptable, up to 90. Now, because of this booty cheeks back here.
Hey, sweet cheeks.
He can't kick back very far. He can do just about that, which is basically nothing. Has a thigh swivel. Double jointed knee. I don't like the kneecap very well, but it functions perfectly fine. Ooh, and I forgot to show you all, he does have a bicep swivel and a double jointed elbow that goes well past 90. And I don't like his elbow either, because they kind of gave him an elbow cap, and elbows don't really look like that. And a little bit of gap right there. So functions well, but doesn't look super duper great. And his wrist is on a double ball peg. I don't know why, but it is. But that's okay, it functions well enough. Can get a little bit of gapping because of that, but they're a little more sturdy than a ball hinge, so I don't have a problem with it. Back down to his leg, because I got kind of out of order. No shin swivel or anything. His ankle joint is a little ball hinge down there, and it kicks down halfway decent with very little gapping. It will move up a little, not a big bunch, and it'll rock, has a little bit of ankle rocker, so take that for as it is. And his toe joint, not too terrible. This is actually pretty flush right there, so I don't really have that big of a problem with it. A little loose, but it's a toe hinge, and they all kind of suck regardless. All in all, his articulation is really, really good, and I think that has to do with a well thought out sculpt, and they're using the right kind of joint systems, and they're executing them properly. That's what happens when you do things right. Everything tends to come together and work really, really well. Like I said, don't really care for the way the elbow looks and the knees, but other than that, this figure, as far as articulation, is fantastic. Let's move in to talk about my final thoughts.
Now listen to me very carefully.
All right, this Jiren figure is excellent. I really, really like it. I like it way more than I thought I would, because I do not care about the character. This figure is great. This figure is an absolute A. Screw that, I'm giving it an A+. This would be a premier level figure if it had a matte finish all over it, but they went with satin, and I can kind of understand why they did, but I just can't give it a premier level look or grade because of that satiny, shiny look. That just doesn't have premium, look to me in my mind. So A+, he is excellent, worth every penny. I know he is expensive on the secondary market.
No, I don't got no goddamn money.
If you can find him for a really good deal like I did, I got an excellent deal on him. That's why I picked him up, and I'm glad I did. Shop around and you can find him for a good deal, I'm sure. You won't regret it. That's all I've got for Jiren. If you have not checked out our other videos, please do. If you have not subscribed, please do. Give this video a like, comment, share, all that good stuff. We're on the road to 500 subscribers, and we need your help to do that. And with all that said, this has been Dad with Dad's Expensive Hobby, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.